Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And in this lesson we're going to be looking at the electrolysis of aluminium. Now first of all, let's think, why would we want to extract aluminium? Well, aluminium has a number of properties which make it very useful. For example, aluminium is very light, it's not a very dense metal, so we can use it when we make racing bikes and aircraft. We tend to alloy the aluminium when we make aircraft to make it a bit harder. Aluminium is also a very good conductor of heat and electricity. So we want to use aluminium in high voltage cables like the ones in the national grid, or we use it for saucepans. And we also use aluminium in aluminium foil. It's very unreactive. But one of the problems with aluminium is that we have to mine it, and the ore of aluminium is called bauxite. Now, bauxite is ored out of the ground, and bauxite will contain aluminium oxide. We've got to dispose of all of the waste rock before we get to the aluminium oxide. But one of the problems with this aluminium oxide is that it has a very high melting and boiling point. We're talking over 2,500 degrees. Remember, we have to melt this aluminium oxide before we can do electrolysis. It has to be in a liquid. So to lower the melting point of aluminium oxide, we use a substance called cryolite. Now what cryolite does is it lowers the melting point of aluminium oxide. It decreases that melting point from around 2,500 to just 1,000 degrees. Now this is economical for the industries that are doing the electrolysis of aluminium. And what would happen is we take our aluminium oxide, our molten aluminium oxide, and we place it into our electrolysis circuit here. So this would be our aluminium ions. It would also contain our oxygen ions. The aluminium ions are going to be attracted to this negative plate around the outside of the container. The aluminium ions are going to gain electrons, so they're going to be reduced, remember oil rig, to form aluminium atoms. And remember to put your state symbols in. Now something very interesting happens with the oxygen, because the oxide ions will be attracted to these positive electrodes. And remember, the oxide ions will turn into oxygen gas, which is diatomic. So to balance the equation out, I just add a 2 and a 4. But the trouble is that these electrodes are made of carbon or graphite. And the carbon in these electrodes reacts with the oxygen. And what you get is the carbon in the electrodes reacting with the oxygen to produce carbon dioxide. So eventually these positive carbon electrodes burn away as they start to react with the oxygen. So in the electrolysis of aluminium, we will need to keep replacing these positive carbon electrodes. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in. Stay in touch for another video.